I've been involved with other FBI situations in the past.
24 and 25.
He picked a little-known car rental company.
I think Mohammed Atta came here for price. I mean, he rented the cheapest car he could from us. He didn't rent the best car we have. He rented the cheapest car we had. A lot of criminals do come here simply because, we're a little guy out of the way and a lot less conspicuous than going to a big place.
In Hamburg, Germany, another address used by Atta. Police there leaving with evidence. By all accounts, in Germany and in Florida, Atta and his cousin kept to themselves, except for last Thursday at this bar in Hollywood, Florida. It's believed both men came in, drank heavily, and then refused to pay the bill. FBI agents showing Atta's passport photo to bar staff and listening to the manager.
A lot of criminals do come here simply because, we're a little guy out of the way and a lot less conspicuous than going to a big place.
And I was like, okay. And that's what I told the FBI agents, and they were like, oh, really?
Now, WTVJ, the NBC affiliate in Miami, has since spoken tonight to a man who says that these names didn't mean much to him until he thought for a moment and realized these folks,
In the 32 days that he rented the car, he put about 3,000 miles on altogether, which is a lot of miles. He was polite. He always paid his bill on time, returned the cars clean, never damaged or trashed the cars at all. I mean, he was a good customer in that respect.
Atta is also known to have travelled extensively between the United States and Europe and within Europe itself, making him the suspected bridge between the hijackers and Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda.
Enough to get into the 757 and be able to man the controls of a 757 and direct that plane. Now, just a short time ago, brought in here to the FBI headquarters on the back of a flatbed truck, a vehicle. The license plate had been removed. It's a little Escort, I believe, a Ford Escort that was brought in here. The FBI was contacted tonight after Mohammed Atta's picture was shown on NBC, and somebody at a car rental agency said, I know that guy.
He rented 2 cars over 3 different contracts, a total of about 5 weeks. Well, he picked up that car at closing time, and that one was going to be for 2 weeks. He told me it was going to be for 2 weeks, and told me he had to go over the west coast of Florida and wanted to know if that would be a problem.
In this nondescript building in Pompano Beach, Florida, we got confirmation that Atta had been in Venice during 2 of the last 3 weeks of his life.
While he was over in Venice during those 2 weeks, he called me from Venice. I saw it on the caller ID, and I thought, oh, wonderful, I got a car broke down over on the west coast of Florida. And he called me because the service engine soon light was on.
During his questioning by the FBI, Warrick learned new details of the attack.
Well, Marwan almost missed the building, so FBI told me that he was flying Marwan was flying 100 miles an hour faster than Atta, and that's why he flew into the building deeper, and that's why that building came down first, is because there was so much fuel deeper into the building. But their also explanation is Atta was very cool, calm, collected, just zeroed right in on it, just bingo, and Marwan, on the other hand, 10 years younger, was just scared to death. And flying, he flew erratic, and like I say, at the last minute, he almost even missed the building.
Numerous items in Warrick's account are at odds with the official story. Atta had supposedly never been to America before the previous summer, which is hardly enough time to learn to speak without an accent.
How was their English?
Both of them very good.
Yeah.
Very. I really thought that they had been in the country for a long time.
Where and when did Mohammed Atta learn? Like he'd been here a long time. Everywhere we turned, we heard anomalous evidence.
Mohammed dressed to the nines. I mean, nice pants, shirt, just business-like. Real business appearing, but nice clothes.
The biggest mass murderer of the new century posed, ironically, as the perfect consumer.
He carried a briefcase, and he had all the credentials he needed. I mean, we asked for, in order for rent a car to anybody, they got to have credit card, driver's license, and proof of insurance, and he had that. Everything matched. He had all state insurance. Address on the insurance card matched his driver's license. He was a perfect customer.
Warrick remains puzzled by certain inconsistencies in the terrorist actions. More anomalous evidence.
If they were on a suicide mission, they knew they were going to be gone in a couple days. Number one, why would you go to the trouble to return the car to us 2 days before? If you got to catch a flight, like say out of Fort Lauderdale Airport to go up north, why don't you just leave the car at the airport? The heck with me. We already had a signed credit card slip. We could have put it on that credit card slip and saved yourself the aggravation. And what would you care? They bothered returning the car here, and on the last contract, we already had a signed credit card slip for Muhammad, and Marwan said, no, don't put it on his credit card. Here, put it on mine. Well, in order for us to take somebody else's credit card on a contract, you got to be on the contract. So that means he had to give us his driver's license, and he had to sign everything. No problem. He gave us his driver's license, got on the credit card, tore up Muhammad's credit card slip, charged it on Marwan. I mean, what all does this make if you're going to be dead in a couple days? What difference does all this make?
Warrick, too, noticed a high tide of suspicious characters.
I have given them a lot of names because this last year I've had a lot of people that after this 9/11 I go, whoa, what about that? Remember that customer? And what about that customer? So 3 young guys that just prior to September rented a car from me for 3 months, and to me they fit the description of anything that Muhammad was up to. I mean, why would they spend $900 a month to rent a car for me? What would they be up to? Why were they here?
As with almost everything else about September 11th, Bradley Warrick's story has a twist. We asked him how Muhammad Atta had found his tiny agency.
How did they find you? Their credit, you know?
Oh, it's out of the phone book.
Yeah.
But in the Bell South Yellow Pages, there is, alas, no listing for Warrick's. More anomalous evidence. Neither is his company listed at the Florida Division of Corporations. But we did discover several IRS liens he has outstanding. Maybe that's why we weren't too surprised when he told us he's worked with the FBI before.
I've been involved with other FBI situations in the past.
Here's a copy of the rental contracts.
Brad Warrick faced evil too. He rented cars to 2 of them in Pompano Beach. Warrick remembers Atta as a polite businessman, never suspecting a thing.
It's just amazing that they could have brainstormed such an evil thing that could do harm to so many thousands of people on one strike.
And his cousin legally in this country? That's something the FBI is now tracing. But flight school owner Rudy Deckers says he was suspicious.
We don't think that these people came in a normal way, not that we can know that. But the normal way is that they get a permit to enter, and a few of them are in reviews in the last couple of years, and that's okay by us. These people came at our door and wanted to get training done, and you know, what can you do? I mean, for us, it's a customer.
The FBI today visiting an apartment in Coral Springs, Florida, where Atta once lived.
Can you tell us if you found anything?
No, ma'am, no comments today.
At the same time, in Hamburg, Germany, another address used by Atta. Police there leaving with evidence. By all accounts, in Germany and in Florida, Atta and his cousin kept to themselves, except for last Thursday at this bar in Hollywood, Florida. It's believed both men came in, drank heavily, and then refused to pay the bill. FBI agents showing Atta's passport photo to bar staff and listening to the manager recount the argument.
If there's an issue where you can't pay your bill or something, just tell me, okay? Let's stop, you know, let's cut to the chase here. And the guy got like very, very offended, and he said to me, he said, oh, I can pay my bill. I'm an airline pilot. And I was like, okay. And that's what I told the FBI agents, and they were like, oh, really?
Now, WTBJ, the NBC affiliate in Miami, has since spoken tonight to a man who says that these names didn't mean much to him until he thought for a moment and realized these folks, Muhammad Atta and Marwan al-Shahi, the cousin, after they left Venice, Florida, came here to South Florida and took 3 separate classes in a flight simulator to learn to fly a 727. Now, it's important to note that's a very short period of time. The 727 is different than a 757. There's analog gauges in a 727. In a 757, it's much more sophisticated. But the gentleman, the experienced pilot who gave them these training classes, said that it would be enough to get into the 757 and be able to man the controls of a 757 and direct that plane. Now, just a short time ago, brought in here to the FBI headquarters on the back of a flatbed truck, a vehicle. The license plate had been removed. It's a little Escort, I believe, a Ford Escort that was brought in here. The FBI was contacted tonight after Mohammed Atta's picture was shown on NBC, and somebody at a car rental agency said, I know that guy. I rented him a car, and I rented it to him just several days ago. So the FBI went up there. They've pulled the records. They've been able to find out that the car was indeed rented to Mohammed Atta's cousin, Marwan al-Shahi. They brought the car down here. They're going to try and process it here. They do have some records, like the Visa number for the Visa card that he used, but at this point they're in the process of trying to take all these pieces and put them together. But I think, as you pointed out, Tom, there seems to be a wealth of a trail here after the fact. But as much as the agents will be able to sort of put it all together, the real question is, where does it lead to people who are still alive? Because it's believed these people died in the suicide crashes.
And does it, in fact, lead to Osama bin Laden, who is the #1 suspect in the minds of just about everybody in law enforcement agencies, national security advisors to the president himself, and others, although they're not talking about that publicly at this time. That's the next connection that has to be made. By the way, Neil Soderman, a former senior pilot for Delta Airlines and one of their flight instructors who flew 757s and 767s, said hitting the World Trade Center was not the problem. If they had enough training, they could have done that. But he said the pilot who took the plane into the Pentagon, that was a different flight altogether that had left Dulles Airport in Washington and then circled around the Capitol before going in. He said that was a much more precise piece of flying. So most pilots are saying that if they'd had some rudimentary pilot training, they could have, once the plane got off the ground, they could have sat in either the right-hand or left-hand seat and controlled it into the World Trade Center, which, in fact, they did. So that's what's been going on with the investigation. A lot of activity in Florida tonight. In Washington, the lights are burning late at the Pentagon as they continue their search and rescue efforts there, but also military planners are examining contingency plans that they may have to put into effect once the United States determines who is responsible for all of this.